The most expensive traffic jam in human history happens every summer in a Mediterranean bay, where the floating parking lot contains more wealth than most stock exchanges. Yet the best viewing spots remain accessible via public bus routes that cost less than a decent cocktail. Cap d'Antibes represents the ultimate collision between artistic heritage and oligarch excess, where the same limestone cliffs that inspired literary giants now anchor estates worth hundreds of millions, complete with helicopter pads that buzz like mechanical wasps delivering champagne and tax attorneys. This narrow French peninsula achieved the impossible, creating a billionaire playground so exclusive that ordinary mortals need advance wire transfers just to drink coffee at the local hotel, yet so poorly planned that anyone with hiking boots can walk right past their garden walls and witness the spectacular absurdity firsthand. Therefore, in today's episode of So Luxury Travel, we are touring the actual Bay of Billionaires, Cap d'Antibes. If exclusivity had a postal code, it would undoubtedly belong to Cap d'Antibes. This narrow limestone peninsula, stretching 5 kilometers between the glamorous resort towns of Antibes and Juan-les-Pins on France's Côte d'Azur, has grasped the art of making billionaires feel adequately wealthy. The Bay of Billionaires nickname specifically refers to the Anse de l'Argent Faux, a secluded cove at the foot of Villa Island Rock, named for the silver reflections dancing across its turquoise waters. 26.5 square kilometers of prime Mediterranean real estate house, 74,709 residents. Yet much of the Cape remains lush with maritime pines, myrtle and rocky maquis, protected under Natura 2000 status. The peninsula forms a natural divider between the Baie des Anges and Golfe Juan, where summers run hot and dry with average August temperatures reaching 27 degrees Celsius. During winter months, the Mistral winds whip the exposed Tire-Poil cliffs with enough force to remind even the most seasoned yacht owners that nature occasionally demands respect. 25 kilometers of pristine coastline feature a compelling mix of pebbled and sandy beaches, complemented by 5 marinas that transform the harbor into a floating exhibition of nautical excess. Port Vauban alone offers 18 super yacht berths, accommodating vessels up to 160 meters in length, complete with 24-hour security, fueling facilities, and helicopter pad transfers. During peak season, the bay fills with yachts collectively valued beyond £1 billion, creating perhaps the world's most expensive traffic jam. The economic statistics defy conventional market logic. Prime residential property transactions over €5 million doubled between 2021 and 2023, establishing the Côte d'Azur as the world's top second home location, according to Savills. Individual properties like Domaine de la Belle Étoile command over €70 million, featuring 75-foot glass-walled swimming pools, helicopter landing lawns, and more than 1.5 hectares of Mediterranean gardens. These astronomical valuations reflect more than simple supply and demand. They represent access to an ecosystem where privacy, natural beauty, and cultural sophistication converge in ways that cannot be replicated elsewhere. Yet beneath this veneer of contemporary wealth lies a peninsula where artistic inspiration and natural beauty originally attracted a very different sort of visitor. The area's transformation from wild coastline to billionaire playground began not with oligarchs or tech moguls, but with 19th-century European aristocrats who recognized something extraordinary in this untamed stretch of Mediterranean terrain. Their vision would eventually create a destination where walking along public coastal paths means accidentally glimpsing some of the world's most expensive private real estate. But the real story begins with the writers and artists who first discovered that Cap d'Antibes possessed an almost supernatural ability to inspire creativity and attract increasingly wealthy admirers. The transformation of Cap d'Antibes from sleepy fishing peninsula to cultural sanctuary began during the Belle Époque, when European elites developed an inexplicable fascination with this wild stretch of Mediterranean coastline. 19th-century aristocrats, captivated by the area's untouched beauty and serene atmosphere, began constructing magnificent villas that would establish the peninsula as a symbol of refined taste and sophisticated leisure. Villa Eilenrock, built in 1860 by a wealthy Dutchman, emerged as the architectural crown jewel, a neoclassical gem set within an 11-hectare park featuring 1,000 rose varieties that created an olfactory symphony throughout the growing season. The Victorian-style Château de la Croix followed in 1927, surrounded by 8 hectares of manicured gardens that would later host some of the 20th century's most influential figures in settings that redefined luxury accommodation. Literary giants soon discovered that Cap d'Antibes possessed an almost mystical ability to unlock creative inspiration that seemed impossible to achieve in their usual urban environments. F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote portions of Tender is the Night while staying at Hotel Belle Reeves in Juan-les-Pins, immortalizing the area's diffused magic of the hot, sweet South in prose that continues to define the Riviera's romantic allure for contemporary readers. George Bernard Shaw, the renowned playwright, found intellectual stimulation in the peninsula's tranquility during the 1920s, establishing a creative routine that produced some of his most acclaimed dramatic works. Jacques Prévert, William Somerset Maugham, Guy de Maupassant, and Nikos Kazantzakis all established seasonal residences that became creative workshops where literary masterpieces emerged from the unique combination of Mediterranean light and coastal isolation. The artistic invasion reached its pinnacle when Pablo Picasso arrived in 1946, taking up residence at Chateau Grimaldi for 6 transformative months that would fundamentally alter his artistic trajectory. During this extraordinarily productive period, Picasso created 245 pieces that captured the Mediterranean light with revolutionary intensity, establishing what would become the Picasso Museum and cementing the peninsula's reputation as an artistic catalyst. Claude Monet and Raymond Penet similarly found the peninsula's unique atmosphere conducive to artistic breakthroughs, their works reflecting the extraordinary quality of light that seems to exist nowhere else on Earth. American socialites Gerald and Sarah Murphy convinced the Hotel du Cap to remain open during summer months. Previously, the establishment closed for the season, hosting wild, glamorous parties at Villa America that attracted Hemingway, Zelda Fitzgerald, and countless other luminaries. Their circle established Cap d'Antibes as the unofficial summer capital of international café society, creating cultural traditions that continue influencing how the global elite approach seasonal leisure. These cultural pioneers unknowingly created the template for modern celebrity tourism, but their artistic legacy would soon be overshadowed by visitors whose primary creative output involved generating unprecedented quantities of wealth. By the late 20th century, Cap d'Antibes had evolved from artistic sanctuary into something far more exclusive, a playground where billionaires competed for the privilege of owning the most spectacular Mediterranean real estate while maintaining the cultural sophistication that distinguished it from other luxury destinations. The celebrity roster reads like a compilation of history's most influential figures: Rudolph Valentino, Coco Chanel, Charlie Chaplin, Ava Gardner, Marilyn Monroe, Jackie Kennedy, and Aristotle Onassis all established seasonal residences that transformed summer months into global society gatherings. Hotel du Cap Aden Rock, built in 1870 as Villa Soleil, became the epicenter of this glamorous ecosystem, hosting everyone from royalty to movie stars with legendary discretion that protected guests from unwanted publicity. The establishment's infamous cash-only policy, credit cards were refused until recently, created an atmosphere where Hollywood A-listers routinely wired enormous sums in advance, or arrived with briefcases full of currency to settle accounts for extended stays. This financial eccentricity reflected the hotel's commitment to maintaining privacy standards that conventional payment systems could not guarantee, establishing a precedent that other luxury establishments worldwide attempted to emulate. Russian oligarchs brought an entirely new level of extravagance to the peninsula during the early 2000s, demonstrating wealth accumulation on scales that dwarfed even traditional aristocratic fortunes. Roman Abramovich acquired Château de la Croix, the same Victorian mansion once owned by the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, transforming it into a modern fortress, complete with helicopter landing facilities and state-of-the-art security systems. Andrei Melnichenko demonstrated the new wealth's theatrical inclinations by paying Whitney Houston and Christina Aguilera to perform at his wedding at Villa Altair in 2005, creating a spectacle that redefined celebration excess. Viktor Rashnikov joined the peninsula's growing population of Russian billionaires, contributing to an atmosphere where helicopter arrivals became as common as taxi drop-offs elsewhere, fundamentally altering the peninsula's acoustic landscape during peak season. The luxury real estate market responded with properties that redefined the concept of expensive housing, incorporating amenities that previous generations of wealthy residents could never have imagined. Domaine de la Belle Étoile exemplifies contemporary excess with its 75-foot glass-walled swimming pool, helicopter landing lawn, and more than 1.5 hectares of Mediterranean gardens featuring jasmine, rosemary, lavender, lemon trees, cypresses, figs, roses, and ancient olive groves. This particular estate sold for over 70 million euros, establishing new benchmarks for Riviera property values and demonstrating that traditional luxury had evolved into something approaching architectural fantasy. Yet behind the glamorous facade, tensions were building between the peninsula's ultra-wealthy residents and the legal frameworks designed to regulate their increasingly audacious lifestyle choices. The same exclusivity that attracted billionaires to Cap d'Antibes eventually generated the controversies that would make international headlines and expose the complex relationship between extreme wealth and legal accountability in one of Europe's most prestigious destinations. Roman Abramovich's Château de la Croix became the epicenter of multiple scandals that revealed how the ultra-wealthy navigate or attempt to circumvent taxation and regulatory oversight while maintaining their luxurious Mediterranean lifestyles. In 2018, the Russian-Israeli billionaire lost a significant legal battle against French fiscal authorities, who ruled that he had deliberately undervalued his €100 million property to reduce wealth tax obligations. The resulting €1.2 million tax bill represented a rare victory for government officials attempting to ensure that billionaire property owners contribute their fair share to public coffers, despite their sophisticated legal strategies. Abramovich's legal troubles extended beyond taxation when, in 2008, he constructed an illegal pontoon extending into the Mediterranean from his Cap d'Antibes estate, demonstrating the casual disregard for environmental regulations that characterized some billionaire behavior. A local fisherman reported the unauthorized structure, prompting authorities to dismantle the pontoon and highlighting ongoing tensions between private interests and public access to France's protected coastline. The global political landscape dramatically altered Abramovich's lifestyle when Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine triggered comprehensive international sanctions that transformed him from respected businessman into political pariah. The United Kingdom, European Union, Canada, Australia, and Switzerland simultaneously imposed restrictions that locked the billionaire out of his properties, including Château de la Croix, effectively exiled from his Mediterranean paradise. These sanctions forced the sale of Chelsea Football Club for nearly $5 billion in May 2022. While his ex-wife, Dasha Zhukova, and their children faced severe disruptions to their previously unrestricted international movements. The 2008 global financial crisis demonstrated that even Cap d'Antibes was not immune to economic downturns, with Cyril Denis abandoning renovation plans for Hôtel Provençal in Juan-les-Pins due to overwhelming bank debts. Hôtel du Cap d'en Roc faced its own institutional scandal in 2010 when legendary manager Jean-Claude Hirondelle was accused of embezzling at least $1 million through elaborate schemes involving double bookkeeping and cash payment manipulation. For years, the hotel's cash-only policy had enabled under-the-table dealings, with Hirondelle allegedly overcharging guests for extras like pool access and ice deliveries while maintaining fraudulent financial records that went undetected. British billionaire John Caldwell offered a more benign glimpse into billionaire eccentricity, cycling from Monaco to Cap d'Antibes with his partner, former Olympic cyclist Modesta Wrzesniowskaite, while maintaining his Kentucky Fried Chicken cheat day habit despite otherwise obsessive health consciousness. But these personal quirks pale beside the systematic challenges facing the peninsula's future as a sanctuary for the global elite in an increasingly transparent world. Despite decades of billionaire colonization, Cap d'Antibes maintains an extraordinary balance between private luxury and public accessibility that distinguishes it from other exclusive Mediterranean destinations and demonstrates how democratic ideals can coexist with extreme wealth. The Sentier du Littoral, also known as the Tire-Poil Trail, provides a 5-kilometer coastal hiking path that winds between crashing waves and white limestone cliffs, offering stunning Mediterranean views and glimpses of prestigious villas hidden among lush vegetation. This public pathway represents a remarkable democratic achievement. Ordinary visitors can walk along some of Europe's most expensive coastline, accidentally viewing billion-dollar estates, while breathing the same pine-scented air as their oligarch neighbors. The trail's strategic positioning ensures that even the most exclusive properties remain visible to hikers, creating an unusual transparency that prevents complete isolation of the ultra-wealthy from public scrutiny. Plage de la Garoupe remains accessible to the general public, providing sandy beaches with clear waters where families can swim in the same bay where superyachts worth hundreds of millions of euros drop anchor each summer season. The famous Baie des Milliardaires, or Anse de l'Argent Faux, became accessible via a small public path in 2011, allowing visitors to experience the secluded cove's natural pool-like waters despite its intimidating nickname and exclusive reputation. Villa Island Rock opens its neoclassical architecture and expansive gardens to public tours on weekdays, except during July and August, enabling visitors to explore the same rose-scented terraces that have hosted royalty and billionaires for over 160 years. The nearby Jazz à Juan festival in Juan-les-Pins continues attracting international audiences to one of Europe's oldest jazz festivals, featuring legendary performers like Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, and Miles Davis since 1960, maintaining cultural accessibility despite the area's economic exclusivity. Cultural attractions extend beyond music to include the Picasso Museum at Chateau Grimaldi, where visitors can view the 245 pieces created during the artist's transformative 6-month residence in 1946. The Jardin de la Villa Touré, established in 1857 as a botanical research site, offers peaceful retreats among exotic plants and Mediterranean flora, providing scientific education alongside natural beauty for visitors seeking intellectual stimulation. Transportation infrastructure supports democratic access through Envibus Line 14, with buses running every 30 minutes Monday through Saturday and hourly on Sundays, making the Bay of Billionaires remarkably accessible via public transportation. Cap d'Antibes demonstrates that exclusivity and accessibility can coexist when proper planning protects both private interests and public heritage, creating a sustainable model for luxury tourism. The peninsula's 26.5 square kilometers of Natura 2000 protected landscape ensure that future development cannot compromise the environmental integrity that originally attracted aristocrats, artists, and billionaires. Whether hiking coastal paths, swimming in secluded coves, or touring historical villas, ordinary travelers can experience the same natural splendor that continues attracting the world's wealthiest individuals to this extraordinary stretch of Mediterranean coastline. Cap d'Antibes embodies the complex relationship between cultural heritage and contemporary wealth, where literary masterpieces and artistic breakthroughs share the same landscape as oligarch scandals and astronomical property transactions. The peninsula's evolution from creative sanctuary to billionaire playground demonstrates how money inevitably follows artistic inspiration, often transforming the very qualities that made a place special. What distinguishes Cap d'Antibes from other luxury enclaves is its commitment to maintaining public access to natural beauty and cultural treasures, despite private ownership worth billions. The ability to hike past €70 million estates or swim in the same bay as super yachts proves that democratic ideals and extreme wealth can coexist when proper protections preserve both heritage and accessibility for future generations. And now, we'd like to see you in the comments. Have you ever visited the south of France, or would like to? We look forward to hearing your personal experiences, and thanks for joining us for another episode of So Luxury Travel. Cheers!